Good afternoon. This is the Thurston County Board of Commissioners. I'm Commissioner Bud Blake, Chair of the Board this year. I'd like to start off first by doing introductions. To my left is Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner John Hutchings. To his right is Robin Quartz, Clerk of the Board. And to her right is Romero Chavez, the County Manager. And to his right is Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager. With that in mind, I'll ask Commissioner Edwards to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
And I would like to ask Mr. Weaver to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. With that in mind, we'll do the first item is to, where am I at there? There we go. Approval of today's agenda or any amendments.
Mr. Chair, I move to amend today's agenda.
I would second that.
Okay, what items are we going to take off of there?
The presentation by Robin Campbell, Assistant County Manager,
Oh.
introducing Marcia Boyle
So
will be added.
That's added, okay.
And remove items 3B and 3E from the consent agenda.
So 3B is from the Public Health and Social Services, and 3E is Public Works, Solid Waste and Advisory Committee. Okay.
Second that.
It's been moved and second to amend today's agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and motion carries.
So, Mr. Chair, I move to approve today's amended agenda for May 2nd, 2017.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and second to approve today's amended agenda. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, motion carries. And so with that in mind, is there a motion to approve the board minutes from April 25th, 2017?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the board meeting minutes from April 25, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second to approve the board minutes from April 25th, 2017. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and that motion carries also. So the first item we have is by way of a presentation, and today we have Mr. Duncan, I lost his name, Duncan Green, there you go, sorry, Duncan Green from Inner City Transit. He's been here before, gives exciting news about the Bicycle Commuter Month here in Thurston County. And I asked Duncan to come make his way to the podium and give us his presentation, and we have a proclamation, I think, to review with you. Hi, Duncan.
Hi. For the record, I am Duncan Green, and I'm here representing Inner City Transit and the Bicycle Commuter Challenge. And I'm going to try not to duplicate the proclamation too much in my remarks, but mainly the proclamation pretty much says it all, and I'm mostly here to just say thanks. But I'll tell you also that May is National Bike Month, and there are activities happening all over the country this May and every May for the last 60 years to celebrate and promote bicycling as a means of transportation. And Washington State is hopefully poised to retain its #1 position as the most bike-friendly state in the nation if League of American Bicyclists continues approving us. This will be our 9th year as the most bike-friendly state in the United States. For 30 years, the Bicycle Commuter Challenge has been encouraging people to try using their bikes for transportation needs instead of driving. And the exciting news that's exciting to me in any case is that we have a new website this year, which allows people to create an account and participate and log their trips online. So it kind of brings us into the current century, a little decade late, but we're making our way to user friendliness in our online presence. So this year's theme for the BCC is Challenge Accepted, as you can see from this awesome T-shirt that I'm sporting here, which reflects also the other exciting news is that we've changed our name. After 30 years, we're now the Bicycle Commuter Challenge as opposed to Contest, and we just changed our name to better reflect the values of the event that we're trying to promote. Bless you. And also just the values of most of our participants. So we're making it a more inclusive event. There's still aspects of competition. Teams can compete against each other for prizes and things like that. So there's lots of different motivations. And we have an amazing sponsorship element to our to the program, which benefits our local economy by involving 48 sponsors, most of which are local Thurston County businesses. And they help us reward our participants with coupons, free passes, and prizes for getting involved or going the extra mile in the BCC. And last year we had 1,853 participants sign up. And in the month of May alone, together we rode more than 100,000 miles on nearly 14,000 trips by bike, reducing CO2 emissions by an estimated 55 tons. So it's looking like another good year for the Bicycle Commuter Challenge. We have over 900 people signed up already in spite of the cooler than normal spring and definitely wetter than normal spring. So mostly I just wanted to say thanks Chair Blake and Commissioners for proclaiming May as Bike Commute Month in Thurston County. So, and I'm happy to take any questions you might have.
Yeah. Do you have any questions? Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering, Chris is here with all of his regalia on.
Oh, and he's got his bike too.
And
Can you-
as his bike, we thought maybe we'd get him up here and take a picture or something.
Yeah, we can do that, but can you just kind of describe what the ideal biker takes on, like Chris is with his yellow garb and his helmet, and how they go about making this successful? Is it typical how one rides a bike?
Well, there's really no typical when it comes to getting around by bike. You know, Chris and I kind of represent what a lot of people think of as a typical bike commuter. You know, we're sort of middle-aged white guys with lots of yellow jackets and rain gear and stuff like that. But there's all different kinds of people who use their bikes to get around by for transportation, whether it's by choice or by necessity. And so we're here to advocate for all of them. And whether you are riding an upright comfort bike with, you know, your tweed jacket on or your skirt or whatever it is that you wear normally, a bicycle is a great means to get around, and certain gear can make it more comfortable in inclement weather, but it's far from necessary just to get around by bike.
Anything else? 900 people signed up already, is that what you said?
That's true, yeah.
Sure. And so I was going to ask Chris to kind of chime into the microphone and tell us about a day in the life of a biker here as far as safety, fun, and how that works for him and all those that are listening in the audience.
Thank you, Chair Blake. So key part of the outfit for a cyclist is to protect your head.
Okay.
Because you never know when you could take a fall, and even a low-speed fall can injure you in your head, and that's something you want to avoid at all costs. So very inexpensive safety piece of equipment is to have a helmet on at all times and have that properly fit to your head. And another helpful thing is to have gloves to protect your hands if you had a fall. Also reduces the road shock a little bit, so that's helpful to people out there bicycling to be able to ride longer with greater comfort. And this time of year, it's often a good idea to have something to protect you from the elements. It can be rainy out there, and so a rain jacket of some kind that ideally has some ventilation in it to keep you from overheating underneath your jacket, but also keeping you dry as you ride. And then you can outfit your bicycle in a number of ways. Really important, even in rainy conditions when it's not nighttime, to have a reflective material on yourself and on your bicycle. It's a state law to have a front headlight and a rear red reflector, although you can also get now lighting that works for that rear light. That red light on the back of your bike is very helpful. So you want to just make yourself be seen as well as you can. So see and be seen. Always scan your surroundings and exercise good following of the rules of the road, and be courteous to other people out there on the roadways, and make yourself visible. So those are some quick tips that I would
Is
offer.
it fact or fiction? You have a car and you subsidize your movement through a car, or is this always on a bike?
I am part of a one-car family. My wife's commute is a lot longer than mine, and often involves dropping off at various child appointments. So she gets to use the car more often than I do, but we also have 3 bicycles. One car, 3 bikes,
Okay.
and we try to get around as much as we
You
can.
do the preponderance on a
two
bike,
wheels.
right? Yours is all mostly on a bike.
My travel is mostly by bike for all that local travel. So put on probably close to 5,000 miles in the last couple of years.
Oh, my word,
just,
5,000
in terms of what
miles.
I've tracked on.
But not
my
to Costco. You wouldn't go to
cyclometer.
Costco on that.
Costco portions can be a little bit much. You can get some trailers that'll haul a pretty load.
The boxes, yeah.
Oh, I should mention too that
Oh, you gotta have
eye
those.
protection is always a
gotta
good
be cool,
idea as
there you
well,
go.
There you
either
go.
from the sun or from errant
Nah,
insects. So.
you're just super cool, that's all. Duncan, how many years have you been doing this with the intercity transit in total? Yeah, wow. Yeah. Doggone. Okay, so we're up for a photo, both of y'all and the three commissioners? Yeah. Yeah.
Great.
Oh, he read the Oh, okay. We'll get that.
Except-
Yeah.
Proclamation in front of us.
And there are a couple of other participants in the Thurston County bicycle commuting team here in the crowd who might want to come up here as well.
Can't win.
Yeah.
Come
on up here.
Yeah. Who else is a bicyclist?
Mike Marr,
Mike, I know, yeah.
Mark Marr, and Kevin Hansen.
Would you mind taking one of mine?
Get in here, man, on your bike.
Oh, okay. That might be a little bit sort of.
Randy, open your eyes.
You just came up the hill, I know it.
You come right here and move.
You got the bike?
You got Kevin in there?
Here we go.
Yeah.
Move over a little bit.
Get on the bike, here.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Whoa.
Make sure you get the one
Zoomed in.
fluorescent.
I can't see you. 1, 2, 3, and one more. Thank you.
Yep.
Great.
Now you get the front.
There we go.
All right.
Oh, here it is.
Yeah, we'll top it off. That's how we do the budget, too.
Good
Just
grief.
just joking. Go ahead.
But a quick question. What would you say is the biggest hazard out there as a biker,
Yeah.
as a bicyclist? Is it vehicles, cars, auto traffic?
Dogs.
Yeah, I would say motorized vehicles. I mean, that's, you know,
Flat tires.
that's sort of, it's a matter of opinion. Just, there's, like with any mode of transportation, there's risks involved, and it could be anything from a stick that gets in your spokes to somebody who doesn't stop at a stop sign. Yeah, I would say the thing that scares me the most is people driving like this.
Distracted,
You
right? And the law of physics, the one with the most lug nuts wins in a collision,
Right.
generally.
So,
Here's the proclamation, Bicycle Commuter Month. Whereas bicycle commuting reduces energy consumption, pollution, and congestion, and is one of the most energy-efficient forms of transportation ever invented, and is a mode of transportation well-suited to urban environments where trips are short in length and overly congested roads are difficult and costly to expand, and whereas bicycle commuting makes people healthier and more productive and prevents chronic disease through increased physical activity, and whereas Thurston County supports alternatives to inefficient drive-alone trips by building bicycle facilities and participating in the Wheel Options Commute Trip Reduction Campaign, and whereas Intercity Transit, along with sponsors, including the Capital Bicycling Club and many local businesses, is hosting the 30th Annual Bicycle Commuter Challenge throughout Thurston County during the month of May 2017. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Thurston County Commissioners does hereby proclaim May 2017 as Bicycle Commuter Month in Thurston County, and in recognition of Earth Day, National Bike Month, and Clean Air Month, encourages all citizens to put forth their best effort to reduce single-occupant motor vehicle trips, to reduce air pollution, energy consumption, and traffic congestion. Adopted this second day of May 2017 by the Commissioners.
thank you. If I could just say one more thing
Sure,
on
go ahead.
to answer your question. especially since Chris is in the room from the health department, I just feel like I need to say that in spite of all the risks that are involved with bicycle transportation, the studies seem to show at this point that bicycling for transportation actually contributes to a longer life. So they're weighed against the risks. The benefits actually outweigh the risks, and you can live a longer, healthier, and happier life by getting around by bike.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
I do ride a bike, but not to the extent Chris rides a bike, I'll say that.
Duncan,
All
you
right.
get the
Thanks so much.
proclamation? Sure. All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, so we're on the next item, which is the opportunity for the public to address the board.
Oh, wait, Commissioner.
Oh, yes, there was another presentation, you're right, because it wasn't on mine.
Oh, introduction to staff. Marcia.
Yeah, sure, go ahead. We have a presentation for a new employee here in the Commissioner's office, and Robin Campbell's going to introduce.
Thank you, Commissioners. So, Marcia, could you step up? This afternoon, it's my pleasure to introduce you to Marcia Boyle. Marcia's first day was yesterday with the county. She has joined us as the Senior Management Analyst in the Commissioner's office. She'll be working with our offices and departments on budget and finance issues. Marcia most recently was the Operations Budget Manager at the Washington State Healthcare Authority. She's held a variety of finance and budget positions in the Department of Corrections, Department of Natural Resources, Department of Social and Health Services, and as I said, most recently with the Healthcare Authority. And I think we're very fortunate to have Marcia join our team.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Tell us a little bit about where you're from and all the little interests you have.
Sure.
Yeah.
So originally born in the Midwest, but moved to Washington State as a wee infant. Have lived in Thurston County most of my entire life. Olympia has changed a lot
Yeah.
since my years. I can remember back when Bud Inlet was not quite as developed, and so that's been a big change. I really enjoy living here in the Pacific Northwest and appreciate the opportunity to work here for Thurston County and get a little bit closer to government versus working for the state. I have 2 kids that, I support and, I'm very proud of, and I think they appreciate having been raised here in Olympia. I enjoy being a little bit crafty, somewhat outgoing, but not terribly outgoing, kind of depends on the situation. I enjoy learning new things, so this is a great opportunity for me to use all my years of fiscal experience gained at the state, and hopefully I can use that and grow some programs here under Robin's leadership.
You bet. Any comments?
Welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Yes, welcome as a new employee, and this being Public Service Recognition Week for Thurston County employees. Did I serve you ice cream about an hour and a half ago?
You did not. I did not attend that.
Oh, okay, okay.
We've got her working hard from the very start.
I guess. Welcome, Marcia.
Thank you.
Yeah, same here. Welcome, and we look forward to your leadership and the role playing here, making Thurston County a much better place, and just taking care of the people out there and the constituents. So, welcome aboard.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
You bet. Okay, so now we're going to move into the part where it's an opportunity for the public to address the board. And so Robin has the timer. We have a new rule here now. We do not have the green, yellow, or blue stoplight thing. And we use the clock that you see up on the wall there, and it counts down from 3 minutes to 0. And you'll hear a little microwave buzzer time, and that kind of cuts you off there. But if you're still in a little bit of a thought, I'll let you finish that and then ask you to finish it up, wrap it up, and then go to the next person. So actually, Romero's going to work the clock, so we got that straightened out. I have 4 people here. 2 have said no, so I'll go to the ones that have clicked, hit yes on the indicator here. And so I'll just go by the way that's signed in, and then I'll ask the audience if there's anybody left over that would like to come to the podium. So with that, the first person I have here is Mr. Larry Weaver, and he is going to talk about, give us a little bit of something about the critical area ordinance, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Commissioners?
the floor is yours.
Larry Weaver from Rochester. I'd like to request that the commissioners immediately instruct staff to begin approving building permits, whether or not the sites are within critical areas, whereby they are 1 acre or less, and using criteria as outlined in the critical areas ordinance. Under page 6, item 16 of the CAO, it indicates that the board at that time had considered and would adhere to the following goals. Specific sections: A, to encourage growth where facilities exist; B, to reduce sprawl; D, to encourage affordable housing; E, to encourage economic development; and F, it states that private property shall not be taken without compensation. On page 7 of the CAO, paragraph 16 states that in general, Thurston County must provide a reasonable balance of the previously mentioned goals, along with their duty to protect critical areas and species. Washington State Administrative Code 365-190-080 grants Thurston County flexibility to make decisions that excuses local jurisdictions from being required to protect all individuals of all species at all times. That's Washington Administrative Code. Page 23 of the CAO and forward states that exceptions must be included for existing single-family lots in the critical areas ordinance. However, it is not clear if it allows 5,000 square feet or 3,500 square feet of disturbance area. Page 25 of the CAO. Item 10 notes a U.S. Fish and Wildlife acknowledgement that the CAO should allow an exception of a certain amount of soil disturbance. They state that 5,000 square feet of disturbance may be too much, but certainly some amount should be accepted. In Appendix 24.25-1 to the Critical Areas Ordinance, the definition of important pocket gopher habitat is included as follows. Priority dry prairie areas have a minimum lot size of 1 acre. Under Attachment B to the Critical Area Ordinance, Section 24.25.065, it is stated under Paragraph B, Item 3, which reiterates the definition of prairie habitat as defined is over 1 acre unless it is functionally connected to other prairie habitat. I represent that infill lots of 1 acre or less are not functionally connected and do not meet the test of habitat. Under the present CAO, based on these items I've referred to, I submit that Thurston County has the authority, without involving U.S. Fish and Wildlife or State Fish and Wildlife, to give permits on sites of 1 acre or less, and this is backed up by Washington Administrative Code and acknowledgement by U.S. Fish and Wildlife. Please consider implementing this action. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your words, sir.
Yeah, I do. One quick. Mr. Weaver, could we get a copy of what you just read off? Maybe Romero would get that, please.
All righty, the next person I have on my list is Michelle Bingham. Hi, Michelle. It's good to see you.
Hello, Commissioners.
Sure.
There's other things I would prefer to be doing, believe me.
I know. The floor is yours, though, okay?
Okay, my name is Michelle Hawkins. I live outside of Yelm. So I want to address some comments that were made at the cannabis hearing on April 25th, 2017. Those comments made it to the Olympian, and I'm going to specifically refer to the people that were opposed to marijuana, were for marijuana production and processing in rural residential agricultural areas. Mr. Hayes stated that he had a flower farm. He actually doesn't have a flower farm on his property. He said that he had about an acre dedicated to marijuana production. He actually has deforested, graded, and tiered without permit over 12,000 to 16,000 board feet on 3 acres of land, not 1 acre. And the investment for what he constructed without permit came from outside sources. In fact, they were from Seattle for an unpermitted illegal Tier 2 operation. So he also said it's taken him a long time to move through this process, and that's because he had multiple expired applications. So other speakers said that they were realtors and they were aware that in their experience no neighbors were opposed to these kind of facilities nearby. In fact, the lady that was accompanying the realtor who also spoke, who is a grower, I know 2 of her neighbors that have contacted me that are very opposed to these kind of operations, and in fact one of them works for the commissioners and is afraid to testify. So I wanted to point out that what Mr. Hayes said made it to the paper. It gives an impression of something that isn't true. And, you know, when you stand to lose everything from an investment in your property for half your life, you kind of lose the fear. So that's why you've seen me here so many times talking about this, because I think the other side of the picture needs to be heard. So I risk a lot. I'm tired of this. I'm tired of the expense. And I'm tired of the difficulty. So I just wanted to give you the alternative facts, and thank you once again for listening.
You bet. Thank you for your words also. So I have two other people who have put no on here. More than welcome to change your mind if you want to come. Yep. Your name is? Chad Ritter. Yeah, come to the podium, Mr. Ritter. And I forgot to mention, but can you mention just kind of generally where you're at in the county? You don't have to give me your specific location.
me?
Where are you from in the county?
I'm out in, actually Puyallup, Pierce County.
Oh, okay,
I'm
cool.
from Pierce County. I do some work out here in Thurston County, though.
Sure, not a problem.
Okay.
You have 3 minutes and the floor is yours.
All right. Okay, I'd just first like to say my name is Chad Ritter, and I just really appreciate your guys' time to listen to us today, or me. One thing that I'd like to address in the topic is that 1,000-foot buffer for retail cannabis. Just a little bit of knowledge about our company. We are located in Pierce County. We are one of the largest retailers in Washington State currently. And what we do for our community, we have set up for Regional Gurtez, his family, we set up a coat drive in honor of his name. We do adopt a road programs. We also invest every 6 months. We do invest into the police officers and the firefighter funds as well. So we are actively involved in our community. Currently, we do employ over 50 people as well. People to us is our number one asset. With that, we do serve 1,400 to 2,000 people on a daily basis, with about an average of 49,000 people coming through our doors. That does generate $1.2 million in revenue. And what is happening here is we would like to take our business model that we've developed in Pierce County and implement it here in Thurston County. We have reached out to some potential partnerships in the county as well, but what we believe to be able to duplicate that business model is very key locations. Currently, we went into the high-density corridor of Martin Way, and the District 2 in Gary Edwards. There's 2 locations up for purchase, and we are heavily looking at purchasing that property and do a major build-out, a remodel, re-asphalt, uplift that community as well. But what's happening is the first location is 772 feet away from a daycare, and the second location is 598 feet away. Currently, we know we can't set up within 1,000 feet of elementary, secondary schools, daycares, et cetera. But also there has been legislation that has been brought through. RCW 6950-372 has allowed local governments to pass ordinance to allow the reduction in 1,000-foot buffer requirements to 1,000 feet around all entities except elementary, secondary schools, and playgrounds. Olympia, I imagine you guys are aware of that. They have reduced their buffer down to the 500 feet. And so we would love the opportunity to do business in Thurston County. We already support 5 of the biggest companies in Thurston County for producing processing. They're heavily involved with us in Pierce County. And so by you guys being open to reducing that 500-foot buffer would allow us to come into Thurston County and duplicate our model. We have taken into consideration, because of the traffic involved, we have chosen a high-density corridor to be able to do that business as well. And so I just basically today I would love the opportunity to do business here in Thurston County and keep supporting it.
You bet. Thank you so much for your testimony today. All right, just one more scan on the paper to see if there's anybody who would like to come forward and address the board, and if not, anybody in the audience that has not signed up but still like to come to the board, to the podium. All right, seeing no one, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda. So with that in mind, we have the county manager's update.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'd just like to bring you a piece of good news. The Thurston County Fleet Services team has just been announced as one of the 2017 100 best fleets at this year's National Association of Fleet Administrators meeting. Applications were scored in a criteria related to accountability, use of technology and data, collaboration, creativity and innovation, performance, efficiency, and cost effectiveness to staff development. Within the 100 ranking, our fleet services are number 73. And just an additional piece of information, that's 2 spots above King County. So there were roughly 38,000 public sector fleets nationally, so this is a big achievement. So I'd like to send kudos to the fleet manager, Brian Hanks, and the director of Central Services, Martin Casey. Job well done.
Thanks.
It is good news. Thank you.
Outstanding. So the next item we have is the consent items. And unless there's any questions or comments, is there a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve consent items A through F as amended.
I'll second that.
It's moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and motion carries. So the next item we have is the department items, which is the resource stewardship, and this one is the renewal of ordinance number 14944. And I think Jeremy is going to lead us into this. Hello, Jeremy.
Good afternoon, Chair Blake, Commissioners. Jeremy Davis, Thurston County Resource Stewardship, Long Range Planning. Today I'm here to request that the board first amend a proposed ordinance we brought forward at the public hearing and then adopt a new ordinance extending the current interim regulations with one amendment that was included in the initial proposal. So ordinance number 14944 was initially adopted in November 2013. This has been renewed and amended 9 times since then for various reasons. The biggest amendment was to remove the permission to do marijuana production and processing out in the rural residential area. Again, we're not proposing to change that at this time. And also those uses currently in operation or currently in the permit process are allowed to continue to do so under the regulations that were in place at the time they made their permit application with the county. So the proposed renewal ordinance will extend the interim regulations till November 8th, 2017. So that's an additional 6 months. It will be effective on May 8th, 2017. The one item that would be left over to be included in the interim regulations, the one modification or amendment to it, would be to allow the limited utilities in the setback from a residential zone or residential property for marijuana production and processing operations. And this is only to allow water lines, sewer lines, septic, and wells. It's not to allow any noise-producing equipment or any of the use itself. It's a practical amendment to allow, say, water lines for a site in an urban growth area to pass through that setback to the property and the operation. We held a duly noticed public hearing on April 25th. We had a number of folks show up and testify to the board on that. We also received 30 comments from 30 different individuals for that public hearing. The board held a follow-up briefing on April 26th to review those public comments and gave their decision to the staff later on. So are there any questions?
No.
No.
So just to reiterate, this is for, this goes forward here, and this goes to November timeframe is when we see this again. And I'll say in an official capacity. I mean, you can look at it earlier, obviously, but just November is really the next time.
Yes, sir. November 8th is the next deadline for renewal.
Okay. Any comment?
If we get finished through the process earlier, we can do it earlier, though, right?
Oh, absolutely. The board can come back and amend the interim regulations at any time, and we've done that in the past in the 6-month interim. And if the board chooses to finish the regulations over the next 6 months, then we would repeal this with that adoption ordinance.
There's an open public process to all.
Absolutely. Any further, it'll be an open public process.
Okay. Is there a motion to amend?
Mr. Chair, I move to amend the proposed interim ordinance renewing ordinance number 14944 as amended to allow limited utilities to encroach into the required setback from a residential zone boundary or adjacent property line.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and so that motion carries. Is there a second motion?
I move to approve the ordinance renewing ordinance number 14944 as amended, which established interim regulations for state licensed marijuana producers, processors, and retailers for 6 months, effective May 8, 2017, the expiration of ordinance number 15371.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and that motion carries also.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Nope, thank you, sir.
Thanks, Jeremy.
So the next item we have is from the Public Health and Social Services. It's an amendment to the interlocal agreement between Thurston County and Mason County and the Behavioral Health Organization, and Mr. Mark Freeman is going to lead us in this.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Mark Freeman, Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization. I'm here today to request an amendment to an existing interlocal agreement between Thurston County and Mason County that forms the Behavioral Health Organization. The request of the amendment is to add a piece providing direction to form the BHO as a limited liability corporation, an LLC. We're approaching you now about this. It has come up recently in discussion with the state auditor and subsequently the Secretary of State that in terms of identifying ourselves as a separate legal entity, they are directing us that and all other BHOs in the state to work towards forming the LLC. Becoming an LLC does a number of positive things for us, and we have not actually discovered any negative side to it. Positive is that it allows us or supports our constructing a human resource component to our organization. In particular, allows us to contract with the state around such things as PERS. It helps support us in terms of filing separate taxes from the county. So essentially, it allows us to kind of complete this separation, particularly as we move to wanting to negotiate in the future with managed care organizations as the state moves towards complete integration of behavioral health and primary care. So the request is an amendment. Mason County will be hearing the same amendment on May 9th.
Any comments or questions?
No.
For the sake of the audience, just give a little background on why it's important to go from a quasi-governmental to a LLC, limited liability, to be able to strengthen our posture and what have you in terms of the
Sure.
behavioral health organization.
Moving towards an LLC does not change our standing as a quasi-governmental
Okay, good.
entity. It puts a shell around it, essentially a legal shell that helps support such things in terms of liability and risk and how we're identified. So it's just strengthening our position as an entity. Quasi-governmental entity, the interlocal between the two counties forms as quasi-governmental under a particular RCW. That remains in effect. That doesn't change. And that's what allows us to also continue to contract with the state to receive Medicaid funding that funds in both Mason and Thurston County behavioral health care, mental health services, and substance use services. Forming the LLC allows us to move in the, further in the direction as a separate entity to strengthen our position to form such contracts with managed care organizations in terms of as they become fully integrated and all Medicaid funding passes through them to allow us to contract with them in terms of future services and future functioning of the BHO in the county in support of behavioral health care. It also helps us in terms of our ability to contract in particular with the state around, as I was saying before, with PERS to receive retirement plan for the staff of the BHO, plus and how we are able to simply contract with managed care organizations. But we remain a quasi-governmental entity. This is not, we are not a nonprofit, we're not a for-profit. We sit in that kind of in-between areas as does such organizations like Housing Authority or some health districts. Does that help?
Yeah, outstanding. And then for the LLC portion of that, every BHO is going to move towards a LLC? Is that kind of state mandated? Kind of
The
talk about that for a
state
second.
auditor's department has taken a new position because originally when we formed the BHO last year, they were fine initially in terms of reading us as a separate entity. They have taken a different position as they are themselves looking at what does integration mean and what's happening with the positioning of the BHO, especially as legislation changes. So this is a request of any multi-county BHO to move towards LLC.
Okay, great. All righty, with that in mind, if there's a motion,
Mr. Chair, I move to approve as an amendment to the interlocal agreement between Thurston County and Mason County that established the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Organization, TMBHO. The amendment allows for the TMBHO to organize as an LLC as authorized by RCW 39.34.030, subsection 3, subsection B. This agreement shall commence upon final approval of the counties and shall be in force until such time it is terminated by the participating counties.
Second.
it's been moved and seconded as stated. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye, and so
Thank you
your
very
motion
much.
carries. You bet. Okay, so number 6 on the agenda is commissioners and county managers' items, and I'll just turn to my seatmates and see if they have anything they want to address as far as commissioner items.
No, I'm going to pass on that. We've got a few things to iron out yet, and then we'll give a little more detailed report.
You have anything you want to put out? Oh, sure.
Just two things, because I was out most last week. Attended the Thurston County Volunteer Legal Services Breakfast this morning. Very worthwhile organization, and great turnout, a lot of fun. And as I mentioned earlier, this is Public Services Recognition Week for Thurston County employees, and all of us were down serving ice cream to the Thurston County employees, and looking forward to doing that again tomorrow and other activities the rest of the week. It's always fun to serve others.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Take care of our employees and our staff. And okay, 2 items I have. This past couple of days, I attended what they call the Health Gen, in the sense of Health Generation Conference. While there's a lot of good stuff out there as far as wellness, not only in the workplace, in the communities, at home, yourself individually, the one item I'd say that was a walk away is what they call the Hope of Science. And I won't get into a whole lot, but I offer that to go look it up on, you can Google it, what have you. It's kind of a new, not brand new way of thinking, but it's a good way of thinking of how to mentally and spiritually keep yourself in tune with what's going on with all the rigors and craziness going on in the world. It's called the Hope of Science, and a guy by the name of Chan Hellman, he's a professor out in University of Oklahoma. And it's pretty much the originator of it, but it's kind of taken a national approach to how wellness can be seen in a different light. So very interesting, very encouraging, and it's just once you listen to a 2-hour program, not on tape or CDs or anything like that, it's all live action. I guarantee you're going to walk out of there feeling better about what's going on in your world and the world around you. The other item I attended was the SSMCP, which is the South Sound Military Community Partnership. And so with that in mind, I sat on a panel to talk about the BRAC. I know that's another acronym, but that means Base Realignment and Closure, and the potential of Fort Lewis or JBLM as a whole to include McClure. I'll say either realigning or closing. My personal opinion, I don't ever think it'll close, but the realignment is always a question where they realign units to get the force structure they're looking for force projection into a particular theater, be it the Pacific Rim and sometimes back into the Middle East. But it does have an impact on the community, and so there were questions and comments both from a military standpoint and a community standpoint, and the human standpoint in the sense of soldiers. And so soldiers, sailors, airmen, and their families and how they're involved with this. And so it has an impact. And, of course, Thurston County was there and being represented. Good discussion, nothing taken away as far as conclusions. There'll be many more conversations. But the one thing I would say, while I have a captive audience, that the corridor going from, say, Nisqually Bridge up to, say, South Tacoma, the interstate there in front of Fort Lewis, JBLM, McCord, in 2018, you're going to see major traffic revisions, and it's a great thing, believe it or not, because when it's all said and done in 4, maybe 5 years, it's going to be much better. So we're going to go through some pains as a community going north and south in that area. 2018, you're going to see those 1 lanes and those offside lanes and all that, but it's to do better as far as getting our traffic flow and movement through that area down to a much better flow. So with that in mind, I'll ask the county manager if he has anything.
Thank you again, Commissioners. I'd just like to walk you through your combined calendar. This is the appointments that at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars. As you mentioned, today you had the opportunity to serve ice cream to the staff here at the courthouse campus. And this is in celebration to the Public Service Recognition Week activities. Also today you had the opportunity to wear your favorite sports jersey.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of staff has also worn that. Tomorrow, don't forget to bring your favorite hat. That will be
favorite
hat
hat.
day. Also on Thursday, May 4th is May 4th be with you, so there will be a Star Wars theme. And on Friday, you have the opportunity to wear your favorite color, that is. So going back to business, tomorrow, Wednesday, May 3rd at 10:30 in the morning, you have an appeal hearing related to a GUI Dock agriculture shoreline permit.
Sure.
At 11:15, you have the opportunity to welcome new employees as part of their orientation. At 2 in the afternoon, you will have the opportunity to serve ice cream to the staff at the Public Health and Social Services building. On Thursday, May 4th, beginning at 8:30, all the way to 2 in the afternoon, you will have a planning session. We'll be developing the agenda this afternoon, and it's going to be a packed agenda on that Thursday. And also at 2 in the afternoon, after that, you will have the opportunity to serve ice cream to the Public Works, Emergency Services, and Fleet staff that are located on the Tilly campus. On Friday, May 5th, at 11, you have a closed session related to RCW 423140-2 that will give you information related to an upcoming appeal hearing that you have on Monday. And at 2 in the afternoon, you have a 2-hour long session, work session related to the stormwater vesting as it relates to the Supreme Court decision. We need to continue to work on that issue. Moving on to May 8th, 4 in the afternoon, you will have an appeal related to a code interpretation. And that will close your week, and we'll be back here on Tuesday to do it all over again. Thank you.
Yeah. Any comments or questions to that? No?
No.
No? Anything else? Anybody? Okay. With that in mind, is there a motion to adjourn today's meeting?
Mr. Chair, I move to adjourn the Board of County Commissioners meeting of May 2nd, 2017.
Second.
It's been moved and second to adjourn. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, and we are adjourned.